Well, this is it. After 18 game weeks, we've finally arrived at the conclusion of this year's Surrey Championship, with the OH 1s and 3s settling for solid top half finishes in their divisions, and the 4s battling for promotion on the final day away at Kempton. Our 2s were gunning to lift the title 2 Saturdays ago at Dean Road. Young James Page hadn't had the easiest start to life with the Lions this year, but faith was placed in him once more alongside skipper Max Vivian, who joined him at the other end as he looked to pass 1,000 runs for the season for the first time in his career. With 9 half-centuries to his name and averaging 40, the only thing that was still to evade him was that elusive ton. Pagey, unfortunately, would not make it out of single figures, driving on the up off the back foot, not quite finding the middle off the bowling of Jack Mosley. This brought Jack Rosser into the action, who, despite averaging over 30, has had a slightly topsy-turvy season, exemplified by this leading edge off just his 4th ball. A tough end to the 23 season for Rosser, as Mosley picked up his 2nd. Despite that disastrous 3rd over, Viv looked to keep a level head, alongside off-spinner Matt Avent-Smith, who hadn't played a bucket load of cricket this season, this being his 10th OH appearance in 2022. But a shake-up of the batting order meant he occupied the number 4 spot, his hands just soft enough to sliver through 1st and 2nd slip. Vivian batted patiently and maturely, waiting on the bad balls, such as this over-pitched one from Mosley, dispatched through mid-wicket, before Mavo's first boundary arrived courtesy of a flashing drive through the covers. It was Viv's turn to keep his hands soft as this one ran to the 3rd man boundary. And with this fixture lacking neutral umpires, it was not to be short of some decision-making drama. Elmo's arms remaining firmly under pits following this appeal, although I'd like to think Max would have walked. Mavo pictured here looking to pick up his rate of scoring off the bowling of Joe Bell. A lovely strike there. Joe Bell, who couldn't seem to escape the Avent-Smith scythe as he rapidly caught up with Viv's total. The bowling of Ruggs Magarira had really served to pin down the skipper and restrict the rate of scoring below 4s, but I can't help but feel he'd have caught that the other 99 times out of 100. Another warning sign for Max, but alas, he was still alive. The drama continued in Magarira's following over, with Mavo looking to sweep one, pitching on Midland leg, no faulting Elmo's reaction time, wasting no milliseconds on the trigger finger. A valuable 74-run partnership came to an end, and the 2's pals found themselves 93 for 3. Elmo went to swap his Birkenstocks for spikes, and KD replaced him, while Viv looked revitalised following his little hiccup. Ben Chippendale strolled to the crease, looking to close out his debut season in OH colours and style. Strokes like that would certainly help. And the best players go twice. Viv had passed his half-century and proceeded to continue his hunt for that elusive ton with aggression. The pals on the sideline enjoying this one just as much. Chip joined in on the fun with this characteristic crunch into the leg side. And Viv started to really settle into his groove as his 2nd half-century looked to proceed at a markedly faster rate than the 1st. Irfan Baksh showed his spin twin how it was done in the 39th over. chip clearing the front dog and nailing one straight down the bowler's throat. 164 for 4. Elmo took guard with Mavo at square leg umpire, but his demise would not be courtesy of his teammate, but instead of a smart Dean Martin grab on the circle. Elliott not catching that one as well as he has many other balls this season. Chris Maddock-Jones was another player with very mixed fortunes this season, and one who'd perhaps relished the chance to bat at number 7 with just a few overs left in the innings. Having freed up his hands the previous week at the annual Sixes tournament, he looked set to do just that. Three skipper James Osborne there questioning of whether he would catch Viv up was indicative of the fact that it was swiftly becoming the MJ show and no one was complaining. Apart from maybe Viv, who was running out of balls to hit that maiden century. Finally the milestone would be reached in the 46th. Met with a rapturous reception from the 2s and 3s assemblage. Despite the expected tongue-in-cheek remarks of double up and the like, it cannot be overstated how impressive and mature the innings played was, albeit not chanceless. A proper captain's knock from a player who will be brimming with confidence going into 2023. Well batted, Max. The fun wasn't to stop there, however. Maddock-Jones here seen bludgeoning a trifecta of front foot blows. Strike 1. Strike 2. And I needn't say more. Unfortunately, it would be strike 3 and out for the skipper, cleaned up with just a matter of balls still to be bowled. Although something tells me he'd have been a touch gutted that 108 score wasn't read in the book. And so, for the final time in 2022, a second 11 batting innings came to a close with the away side set a sizable 250 score to chase, courtesy of useful runs from Messrs Avon-Smith, Chippendale and Maddock-Jones, and of course that marvellous captain's innings from Max Vivian. Over to the bowlers now, and Elmo charged in with the new rock, and CMJ gifted Old Wimbledonians an early let-off, Dean Martin edging straight into his mitts, but it just wouldn't stick. In a bowling quintet containing 3 spinners, Mavo opened from the Pigeon Lane end and CMJ sought redemption, managing to hold on to the Will Chapel outside edge as the first away wicket fell with no runs on the board. The first runs would be struck by Jonty Newton, slog sweeping Mavo into the onside to get the chase underway. Elmo would get his reward following a Max Vivian grab in the men's room as Old Wimbledonians slipped to 17 for 2, Viv picking up his 26th victim for the season, joint highest in the club alongside Jack Berg. Max Bailey returned to Dean Road after a busy week of checking the OH group chat in Magaluf and looked to add to his impressive wicket tally for the year. But both Martin and Raymond de Passos managed to keep things ticking over despite the task looking rather Herculean at this point. Rich Brown would bring that partnership to a close, this LBW call looking a little more concrete than the one earlier in the day. Way off the pace, needing to go at upwards of 9 and over, the big shots were to be expected, as demonstrated here. And then again, this time by Raymond de Passos a couple overs later. Elmo was reintroduced into the attack, looking on with characteristic hands on knees as Will holed out to James Page in the deep, giving Morley his second and OH their fourth. Old Wimbledonians looked to be in dire straits at 88 for 5, just 2 balls later as young McHugh edged to his mitten counterpart Jack Rosser. The Herculean task now looked impossible as top scorer De Passos chopped on, gifting Brownie his 38th for the season, edging ever closer to that jaw-dropping milestone of 500 OH scalps. The writing was well and truly on the wall, and Elmo was in full cry, picking up his fourth at an absurdly tidy rate. His fifth 5-wicket haul for the OH and second for the year would come shortly after, as Morley ran through the tail in an effort to get into the showers and celebrate. And his sixth would follow in his final over, another plum LBW, leaving Elmo with season best figures of 6 for 15 and second in the club only to the barbarous Raza Mughal on league wickets in 2022, with his total at 45. With the fours back from Kempton having secured promotion and another quad win almost a certainty, pandemonium at Dean Road was in the offing. Despite one final boundary, it was to be Matt Avent-Smith to bring home the victory and the Surrey Div 3 title for the Twos, following what feels like a record fourth LBW dismissal for the afternoon. Even more amusing that Mike Edwards didn't see the finger go up and continued to take guards soon after. Brilliant. Cries of Championes echoed across Hampton and the jugs of snakebite flowed as another set of 4 club wins were wrapped up. Batting and bowling masterclasses from Vivian and Morley respectively cannot be praised enough, ably supported by the rest of that watertight second 11 unit. Thanks to everyone who's tuned in to these weekly highlights packages this season. It's been a blast. We'll see you in 2023.